khushu', he says, for people who think khushu' is a matter of salah, they don't understand what khushu' is. Khushu' is a continuous state of mind. He says, if you want khushu' in salah, you need to have it outside salah. You need to have it outside salah. Now, one of the contemporary dua, famous one, mashallah, and Allah has given him a beautiful way to preach, Sheikh Salih al-Maghamsi. Sheikh Salih al-Maghamsi has a beautiful statement, and when I listened to that statement, it just shook me, and it kept me in a state of shock for a couple of days. He says, Salah is a privilege. In Salah, you are standing before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are standing before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are standing in the presence of Allah. And that's a privilege and honor that Allah doesn't give to anyone. And on top of this, khushu' is the pinnacle. So Allah would not give it to someone who contradicts the meaning of salah in his life. So he says, if you want khushu', you need to have khushu' in your transactions. Khushu' in the way you treat your brothers and sisters, your parents, and even everyone. You need khushu' in doing your job. If you walk in late and you leave early, and if you waste your time in work and you're getting paid for it, you don't have khushu'. It's almost impossible for you to find khushu' in salah. We thought it was irrelevant. It's all connected. It's all connected. Remember this. You will never have khushu' in salah unless you have it in all aspects of your life. This is why I like the brother's answer when he said connection to Allah. You're not a machine, okay? It's not like an internet connection, okay? Outside the masjid, you're disconnected, no internet access. And in the masjid, okay, go and check Wi-Fi connections and connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It doesn't work like that. We're not a machine. Humans have this tendency, it's our fitrah, to consistency. You are consistent. And Allah says, مَا جَعَلَ اللَّهُ لِرَجُلٍ مِّن قَلْبَيْنِ فِي جَوْفِهِ. Allah did not put two hearts to anyone in his chest. You don't have two hearts. You can't have two different orientations. Ultimately, you have to have one. You might have conflict, an inner conflict for a while, but ultimately you will reach one. Just like as Mu'adh ibn Jabal said, hearts are different types. One that is completely saturated with good orientations, noble orientations. And that's the heart that has light in it. And there's a heart that is completely saturated with evil orientations. And there's a heart in the middle. And nafs al-lawama, in the middle. Sometimes it's here, sometimes it's there. He says, وَقَلْبٌ تَمُدُّهُ مَادَّتَانِ مَادَّةُ إِيمَانٍ وَمَادَّةُ كُفْرٍ. A heart that has two elements, iman and kufr. He says, فَهُوَ لِمَنْ غَلَبَ مِنْهُمَا. Ultimately, one of them is going to take over. So you will have this inner conflict, but ultimately you will end up either here or there. But you can't be two people. So you can't be connected to Allah in the masjid and disconnected. So be sure someone who prays the 5 daily prayers in the masjid, reads Quran, and is excellent Muslim, to be excellent Muslim. You deal with him, he lies, cheats, disrespects others, etc. Be sure that's the same thing with salah, same thing with fasting. It has no essence. It's just a facade. It's a shell, empty shell. So you need to have khushu' in salah. What do? You need to develop this connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's it. It's simple. It falls in place. Just as the Prophet, as I said, the Prophet ﷺ would not tell the companions, okay, do 1, 2, 3, you'll have khushu' in salah. He didn't say, okay, do this and you will get that. No. He built a frame. And that's what Aisha said. Aisha radiallahu anha said, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first said, don't drink alcohol, don't commit zina, they would have said, no, we won't do that. But she said, halal and haram were not revealed until later on. To build that frame first. Build that frame. Okay? Believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Understand what you're here for. What does it mean to be alive? What does it mean to be in this world? What does it mean? What's the point behind this? Understand more about Allah. Get to love Him. Get to love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more. Then, When the Prophet ﷺ, or when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says don't drink alcohol, you say absolutely, no problem. And that's exactly what the companions did. So it's not about instructions, it's about, we're human beings, we're not machines. You program that machine just like a computer and that's it. No, it doesn't work like that. We are humans. So if you want to have khushu', you need to, guess what? Change your life. You need to align your life behind salah. If you don't do that, khushu' will be a far-fetched dream, a pie in the sky. You can't have khushu'. I'm telling you, if you don't align your life behind salah, if you don't align your life behind love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and decide to be a true Muslim, a true believer, you can never have khushu'. You can just dream about it. And have a good time dreaming about it. Because you will never find the sweetness in salah. Salah is a reflection of the rest of your life. That's what it is. So this is why I said, if you can hang it on the wall, that would be great. You think in salah about the things that you love most in life. That's what it is. So you need to know more about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You need to know more. How do you do that? I said it's all these things together. You need to attach yourself to the Quran, read the Quran with more reflection. Reflect on the Quran. Try to, learning 10 surahs without understanding really the real meanings, okay, is not a good thing. Learn one surah, learn the meanings and try to implement them. See how they relate to you, to who you are, to your life. Take it seriously. Okay? That's the only time you start learning. Learning, by the way, is not storing information. Learning is not storing information. Learning is being. If you don't absorb what you learn and it becomes part of who you are, if it doesn't mix with your blood and your flesh and it doesn't change you, you've wasted your time. Simple. If it doesn't change, if what you learn doesn't change you, it doesn't become part of your mental map, okay, you haven't learned. It has to become part of you. It has to change you. Okay? So learning is being. It's a new state of being. That's what learning is. If you think it's just a mental process, you're not going to benefit. So you learn about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. That's not a simple thing to learn. You need to see that in everything you go through. Even when you get in trouble and it becomes really hard for you, if you have truly learned the meaning of Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, you would see the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that trial. You'd be able to see through. Ibn Taymiyyah, may Allah have mercy on him, when he was in Damascus, in Sham, and the Khalifa of the Muslims who was in Egypt at the time, he sent troops to arrest Ibn Taymiyyah. And guess what they did? Ibn Taymiyyah was respected among his people. They handcuffed him and they were riding the horses and they were dragging him. He was on foot from Damascus to Cairo, which would take about 20 days to a month. As he was dragged out of his city, his own students were saying to him, Ya Imam, هذا أوان الصبر. Oh Imam, this is the time for patience. You remember you used to teach us about patience? Now it's your golden opportunity to have patience. He looks at them and he says, لا والله هذا أوان الشكر. He says, this is the time for thankfulness. Huh? He was on a different level. That's the time for thankfulness. He says, Wallahi, there is a sense of contentment in my heart that if it were to be distributed among the people of Damascus, it would be enough for each one of them. Why? He could see through. He could see through that plight. That's a man who really understood the meanings of the names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And now that's a man, how I say, if he stands up in prayer, this kind of man would have khushu'. I'll answer one of the questions, or one of the things I promised you to answer. It was Imam Ahmad. Anyone remembers his statement? I mentioned a statement at the beginning and I said, I'll tell you who's the originator of the statement? Anyone can remember that statement? Excellent. What's your name, brother? Atif? MashaAllah. The manner in which you pray your prayer reflects where you are in paradise, or where you are in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Was Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. That's Imam Ahmad's statement. A lot of people say, I wish I could know, where I will be in paradise. And we have high hopes about that, yeah? He says, it's simple, you want to know? Look at your prayer. That's it. Just check your prayer.